Goodison is the place to be this weekend in the English Premier League. It really is the epitome of a derby game.
I want to talk about this potential beef that we're seeing between Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola. So
it's like the old days.
I know. It's so good.
We are so back, baby.
I love waking up and seeing this kind of stuff. So Jose Mourinho had this to say on Pep Guardiola. He said, if I can't win cleanly, I prefer to lose. Guardiola said something to me yesterday. He won 6 trophies, I won 3, but I won fair and clean. If I lost, I want to congratulate my opponent for being better than me. I don't want to win because I deal, but the 150 cases basically revealing how he truly feels about that situation. So, Geoff, what do you make of Jose Mourinho's comments, and how are the British media reacting to this?
Suze, I'd like to say that, to be honest with you, that sort of stuff, that sort of, if you like, titty-tattle or backhanded compliment, I'd like to say I'm the sort of person who's not really interested in that.
Right.
I can't. It's wonderful. It's wonderful rubbernecking stuff, isn't it? It's vintage Jose, magnificently waspish. He's not even in the country anymore, and he's still managing to get a few blows in there. I mean, him and Pep had some wonderful battles out in Spain, of course, Real Madrid and Barcelona, respectively. But hey, he's entitled to say it was. You have to say it was a very Mourinho moment when he held up his fingers, Pep, when he's saying 6. Look what I've done. Look what I've achieved, and. There was the obvious comparison there, wasn't there? But when it was put to him about, when Jose did that, that was, I think it was the last knockings Manchester United against Tottenham, and he subsequently was sacked. That's when Pep made his point, which Jose, listen, he may not be here, but trust me, he sees and hears everything. He wasn't going to let that pass by without firing some back. So, yeah, wonderful theatre, as always.
Geoff, you've obviously met both of these men, and you understand something about Jose Mourinho that I think most understand now, is that he doesn't say anything without knowing exactly how it's going to be taken and how it's going to work to his benefit. He's 3 or 4 steps ahead of everybody else. But Pep doesn't seem like the guy that does that. He also doesn't seem like the guy that responds. But do you think in this case, such a very clear shot at him, that we might get a response and there's another round of this coming?
Do you remember, Alexis? I mean, I think you're spot on. Do you remember at Barcelona one time Pep exploded, and it was in the press conference, and he said, "I'll leave out the cursing, the expletives." He said, "He is the so-and-so king in here," meaning in the media theatre. Pep knows he can't take on Jose Mourinho in the media because he is so artful, if you like, Jose. He's not going to let anything lie. He knows how to create headlines. He knows how to poke at his opponents. He knows how to get under their skin. So I don't think Pep will want to revisit this whatsoever. If somebody said something to him today in his press conference, I'd be surprised if he had a nibble back. But if he does, then, well, this will just carry on and on. Because trust me, Jose will want the last word. That is guaranteed.
Geoff, staying in the same vein of petty, we've had a lot of Liverpool loving this week. Suze is riding on cloud 9. But when they dropped points at Newcastle midweek, did they just open the door a little bit for the rest of the clubs to maybe get themselves back into the title race?
Well, they certainly gave them some hope, didn't they, Jalil? Let's be honest. Because they were disappearing so far, they were nearly out of sight. So, yeah, it was great news for the chasing clubs, but I watched the majority of the game, and to be honest with you, I mean, look at the equalising goal. Just really, really unfortunate from Queven Kelleher, who's been so good deputising. And also, to be honest with you, I thought it was a really good Liverpool performance, particularly in the second half. And once again, we saw Arne Slot's ability to change things at half-time, to bring on fresh substitutions and alter the dynamics, the pattern of the game. I was impressed. Great news for the rest of the teams, but once again, they were really unlucky not to come away with all 3 points. I certainly think they've played a lot worse than that and won games.
We're a second-half team. What can I say? I'm fine with that.
But are you a second half of the season?
Yes.
That is
Good point,
question.
Alexis. A very good point.
That is to be determined. Well, it's a perfect segue to the Merseyside Derby that's happening tomorrow. Geoff, I'm sure you've covered those matches over the years. How do you think tomorrow's iteration is going to go? Because Everton seems to be one of those, like, they always give Liverpool a hard time, especially when they're playing at Goodison Park. How do you think this is going to go?
What you have to bear in mind is this is such an emotional occasion. This game means so much, particularly to the players from either side who are from the region. It's absolutely huge. You know, in their days, Carragher, Gerrard's the first fixture they would look for, even if they're title rivals, which, let's be honest, Everton were nowhere near them at that point. It means so much. And the fact that this could be the last ever meeting at Goodison Park, barring an FA Cup meet there, it only adds to it as well. I've been to so many of these games, and the atmosphere is absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely rocking. But what you have to remember, Liverpool is still a relatively small city. So this game often divides families. Suze, I think my favourite illustration of this was the great Everton captain, Peter Reid. He told me the story once, although the game was at Anfield. He wiped out John Barnes, the magnificent John Barnes, Liverpool hero, tackle, caught him just right, bang, smashed him into the sides. And Peter Reid's gone down as well. He said he was getting dog's abuse from the crowd. They were calling him everything under the sun, mentioning his height, his lack of hair, his rather large ears, you name it. They're giving him pelters. He stood up. He said there was one voice in particular which was particularly aggressive and particularly unpleasant. And he just sort of looked like they went, "Hey, Uncle Arthur, calm down, calm down. I'll see you in the Players' Lounge afterwards." And he did. It was his own uncle who was a Liverpool fan. Because he was the Everton captain, didn't matter. Everything's fair game. So, yeah, it's a great, great fixture. Look, it will carry on when they go to Bramley-Moore Dock as well. But Goodison is the place to be this weekend in the English Premier League. It really is the epitome of a derby game.
It's also a great stadium to watch a game, and it's going to be missed when they move on to Bramley-Moore Stadium. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I have a good friend of mine, or was a good friend of mine. He was in a long-term relationship, got caught cheating on that girl with a mistress. That girl let him still go to a wedding with that mistress because he said, "What am I going to do? I promised her I'd go. It's tomorrow." That's the story. That reminds me a lot of the Lopetegui situation we're in. Because why is Lopetegui...
As segues go, that was a belter.
I have no idea.
Why is Lopetegui being allowed to coach one more game? I feel like everyone knows what's going to happen here. Is there a way where Lopetegui can actually save his job? And what would that actually take? Or is this, you're letting your man go to a wedding with the mistress?
Well, Monday night, let's not forget, Gary O'Neill is under huge pressure as well. So, as usual, it's been dubbed El Sakiko because whoever comes out on top is likely to remain in their job. But Lopetegui, it just hasn't worked, has it, at all? And the fact he's replaced David Moyes, and there was an awful lot of sage observers saying at the time, be careful what you wish for. And what they've got is nothing like what they'd hoped for. But, you know, you're seeing Concacaf, Terzic, Graham Potter mentioned. But the thing I'm curious about is they're talking about a 6-month contract. Now, what manager of what standing would take a 6-month deal till the end of the season? What are they on trial? Are they some sort of beginner or something? It looks like a really, really poorly handled situation from start to... I mean, ultimately, it's got to finish because if they keep losing games, they're going to be in serious trouble. And there's no way the West Ham board will allow that to happen. But a mess, a real mess.
A real mess.
Yeah.
That was great, Alexis.
I got you.
I was like, where's he going with this?
Yeah,
what is happening?
We found our way there.
You know what?
I was looking at Christine, who was just looking to her left like that.
She really was.
Where is he going?
I was like, you know what? I've known him for long enough that I really still don't know where any of the mental trajectory is. And I'm like, am I ducking under the desk? Is he going to say something so wild that I'm like, I need to dissociate?
I'll tell you where I'm not going to go. My text messages after revealing that story on live.
Yeah.
You just got to let Alexis
your buddy, man.
descend the plane.
There's few things
Let me land, bro. I got us.
I've never panicked on air, but that was close.